What's up, squad? My name is Josh, aka The Real Swiper, and today I'm going to be answering questions that you guys have had. So I took to Facebook and Instagram and I asked you guys what questions you had for me. So I was hoping what we'd get out of this is we'd get to know each other a little bit better. So I'm going to be answering your questions right here. Sipping on a little bit of coffee. Now, I'm thinking about doing these like regularly, so, when you guys are watching this, if this is something you dig, let me know in the comments. If you guys missed this post, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Just search The Real Swiper and you'll find everything. It's my website, it's my Instagram, it's my Snapchat, it's my Facebook page, so just search that and you'll be able to see posts like that as they come. Alright, so we're going to start out on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/TheRealSwiper. And Aaron asks, what's your processing flow like? So essentially, I use Lightroom. I use a combination of Lightroom and Photoshop, but I mean, that's really it. Like, there's no like secret magic trick. It's just about knowing how to use Lightroom. The only reason I really go into Photoshop is if there's something in the photo or if there's defects in the car, like a rock chip or something, which is essentially like a blemish that I would want to take out. Then I go into Photoshop. I like those tools a lot more. But as far as like all my adjustments, those are all made in Lightroom. Next up is Nick's question, and he asked me what my drink of choice is while wrenching. Easy, Jameson and Coke. Next question, again, is Nick, and he asked if I had any plans to put my engineering degree to use in the VW world. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm currently attending school, majoring in mechanical engineering. Do I plan to use it in the VW world specifically? No. But in the automotive and motorsports world? Absolutely. That's kind of the only reason why I went to school, so if I end up doing anything else, I'll just go back to doing what I was doing before, because I don't think I'll be happy working in the engineering field like unless I'm working in automotive or motorsports. I hope that answers your question. I am going to need more coffee. Maybe a little bit more. Next up, again, Nick. He asked a lot. Best mod / worst mod done to any of my cars so far. I would have to say that my favorite mod to any car so far, I would just say Air Ride, but I don't think that's like the coolest mod ever. One mod that I really appreciated is on my Mark V GLI, I installed S2T Performance CNC aluminum paddles, and that mod made driving the car so much more enjoyable. Since it was a DSG, that having like metal paddles to like, bang off of was a lot more fun than like the plastic clicky ones. I honestly don't think I've done anything to a car that I've hated. I'm really picky with what I do. Honestly, I was kind of lucky to where I didn't make any of like the eBay mistakes that a lot of guys just coming into the car community made. So I think my first mod ever was when I had a Mark V, I installed Coney coilovers. So like, I sort of never took like the shortcut route. I always saw the importance of like investing into quality parts. So I don't have any mods that I hate. Next question is from Shane, and he asked me what drives me to buy foreign vehicles. I honestly don't know. I think the moment I fell in love with Volkswagens was when the Mark V first came out. I remember seeing the commercials, and I had to have been, I was a teenager. So like 15, 16 years old. The Mark V just like looked awesome to me. Like, it was a hot hatch, and I really enjoyed like the red stripe on the grille. Like, those are the things that I remember. And so I think that's what made me fall in love with Volkswagens. And then that love for Volkswagens sort of transformed into a love for like all things European. And then as I grew up, I realized that that was a smart choice, because it turns out that we Americans can't make cars to turn corners. So, I mean, proof of that would be like the Mustang just got independent rear suspension, right? So before that, the Mustang was just like a death trap of bad cornering. Next up is a question from Rob, and he asked Canon or Nikon. So I actually don't shoot either. I shoot photos with the same camera that I shoot video, not for long though, but I shoot photos with the Sony A7 II. I had a Nikon D90. So for those of you that think that this is awesome because of the camera I have, or that my photos are good because of the camera I have, I would invite you to take a look at my Flickr and scroll way back. And there's a ton of stuff on there with a Nikon D90, which I think can be had for less than $200 now. So you can do the things that I've done with crop sensor DSLRs on the cheap. Like, a camera's like really not everything. I think I'm rambling, but I use the Sony. I love the Sony. I love its Wi-Fi features and focus peaking. And I love that I can see the shot before I actually take it, which is one of the big benefits of using a mirrorless camera, is that there's no like shooting or second guessing. Like, what I'm seeing through the viewfinder is exactly how the photo's gonna look. So I think that's my favorite part about using the Sony. So I hope that answers your question. Next up is from Chris. He says, if someone has a 2003 Jetta GLI, but it doesn't have any of the chrome trim or a 1.8T, is it even a real GLI? No. Those didn't even come with Recaros. Those didn't come with the Votex trim kit. Those didn't come with literally anything. It just came with the GLI badge in the trunk and a 24 valve under the hood. And they were just like, yeah, it's a GLI, but everything that makes it a regular Jetta is still a regular Jetta. So, no. Next question is from Oscar, and he asked if he could be my apprentice with photography. I don't do this full time, so I don't really have a use for like assistant or anything else. So you wouldn't have anything to do. The best advice I can give you is just to go out and start shooting and watch YouTube videos on how to use Lightroom and watch videos on how to shoot better. Like, that's how you get good, is by like researching and like investing time into the thing you want to get good at. There's no like shortcut, you know? So just go out there and shoot, and that's the best advice I can give you. Next question is from Nick, and he says he has two questions. What in my eyes constitutes a build? I don't like breaking down that word so much because, I mean, this is like super controversial. Obviously, everybody thinks that like a build should be like, oh, you have a built motor. I don't like this argument because the whole point of the argument is to like be able to tell somebody else that what they've done isn't a build. And I don't really like that mentality of telling somebody else that their stuff's like worse than your stuff, because, you know, I don't know. I think honestly it's like a pointless argument that doesn't really need to be given attention. What is my honest opinion on eBay parts? Okay, have I bought eBay parts before? Or I'm just gonna include Amazon in the same sort of deal because apparently they're kind of selling the same stuff now. I think it depends. If it's a performance part, garbage. If it's coilovers, like garbage. And some people are gonna say like, oh well, I bought eBay coilovers and they work just fine. Just fine doesn't constitute well performing. It doesn't mean like when I'm saying garbage, it's because I'm comparing it against quality parts, which I think that's what deserves to be done. I mean, there are tons of things that work, but there's not a lot of things that perform well. So there's a difference there. I've used an eBay tow strap as like a grab handle for my trunk. I think in that case it has no requirement for structural integrity, so it's not really a big deal. And I have bought Amazon hub-centric rings, and those fit just like the ECS hub-centric rings that I bought. So I would say on hub rings, you're good. I bought some plastic ones off Amazon. They were $7 and they arrived in 2 days. Like, that was an easy choice. So turbo kits, dude, no. So that's my answer there. More coffee. Next question is by Sean, and he asked, what is your dream car to take photos of? McLaren P1. That's my dream car in general, but I think that car is very dramatic in the way that it looks. The body lines, the rear wing. That car is like just drama built into a vehicle. So I mean, that'd be like dream car to take a photograph of. Andy asks, favorite non-Euro car. At the moment is the Focus RS, but I don't think that's really fair because it was designed and built in Europe, so still a European car, but that's right now is my favorite one. Next question is by Matt. Why is my car so sick? It's not. It's not. Next question is a really good question. I actually really like this one. It's what is your default / go-to adjustment in Lightroom? My biggest pet peeve with other individuals' photos is seeing chromatic aberration banging off at every highlight. That's like my biggest pet peeve because it is so easy to correct in Lightroom, and I know they're using Lightroom to edit, so it's like when I look at a photo and I see chromatic aberration, I flip out. And if you're a photographer and you don't know what chromatic aberration is, like, look it up. It's going to make your work like that much better. Learn how to use the chromatic aberration tool correction in Lightroom. It's under camera corrections, I believe. And it's essentially got stuff to do with the lens, especially when shooting at wide open apertures, which a lot of us are. So, like, do yourself a favor, look up what chromatic aberration is, and learn how to correct it, and it's really gonna make your photos like that much better. Real Mr. Burgundy asks, I have a few. Do you have a job, and what is it? So, like I said before, I don't have a job. I worked at a design engineering internship position over the summer, but as of right now, my job is being a student. So, I think the real underlying thing is is photography or videography my full-time gig? Obviously not. I post a video once a month, as you guys know, so it's that would be a really bad way to get money. So, yeah, I'm going to school for engineering, so that's really all I'm doing right now. Part 2 of his question was, you can't have one for the rest of your life. Beer, a manual transmission, or the internet? Close tie between beer and manual transmission, but I think I'd have to go without beer, because that doesn't really eliminate me from drinking alcohol, so beer. I'm gonna go with beer, because I would love to own a 911R one day, so I'd hate to have given up manual transmissions and then not be able to drive that. So, yeah, that, beer. Last question for today is by Mark 5 Molly. What got you into cars, and what cars have you owned? And also dream cars / cars you plan on getting in the future. I don't know what got me into cars. Probably like everybody else. I think I started getting into cars around the same time people started getting into the Fast and the Furious movies. It sounds dumb, but if I'm gonna answer, I'm gonna be real about it. But I had, my first car was a 1995 Acura Integra LS. It was a white 2-door, non-VTEC. But I loved the crap out of that car. And then I crashed in the middle of winter and I didn't have a car for a long time. My next car was a Plymouth Neon Espresso. That car was terrible, but I had to buy with my own money because I needed a car to get around, so Plymouth Neon Espresso it was. I gave that car to one of my siblings. I bought a matchstick red automatic tan interior Mark IV GTI. Because I kept looking and the automatics were the cheapest and it was kind of all I could afford. So, got a GTI. I wanted a Mark V, but I didn't really have financial means to buy one of those yet. So, got into a Mark IV, loved it, hated that it was automatic, but that really got me into Volkswagens. Then I bought a United Grey manual Mark V GTI. It was 2009, so I lucked out with the TSI engine. Ended up selling that and buying a Mark V GLI 2009. It was DSG, also had the TSI engine. And that is what my fiance is currently driving. So it's KO Ford. It was bagged back in the day, but essentially it's a really awesome daily driver because it is automatic, so you have that creature comfort for when you're sitting in traffic, but it's also KO Ford, so it's a huge, it's a blast to drive, and it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's definitely fast enough to be putzing around back and forth to work in. Then when we moved to Wisconsin, I bought the Mark IV R32, and that's what I've been like putting my heart and soul into bringing it back to where I think it should be. So that's, I mean, you guys, you know, that's the R32, and that's where we're at today. So those are all the cars that I've had. My first car, what got me into cars. So I hope that answered your question. Another sip of coffee. So that's all I got for today. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, because if you like this sort of Euro car talk / you like content that's Euro car related, like, you're gonna want to stick around, because this is like all I do. It's all I put out on YouTube. So, you know, if you like this kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I read all of them and I will answer them. I'm trying to get more regular about putting these videos out. I would really like to do them every week, but I just don't think that's realistic with my school schedule. So I'm going to try really hard to get a video out every couple of weeks. Coming up, I'm going to be at Euroworks. If you're going to be there, it's in Minnesota. If you find me, come say hi. So yeah, that's all I got. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.